Hi there, thank you for joining me at Lomond Parish Church. We're right here this morning. Let me tell you about Edward Spencer. He was a student living near Lake Michigan in Canada, and he was awakened one day by shouts from the lake. Now, it appears that a boat from a nearby harbour had collided with a freighter and was sinking, and Spencer ran down to the lakes. He could see light from the boat, and he plunged into the water. And for 6 hours, he pulled people ashore. By dawn, he had rescued 15 people. Exhausted, he lay down until he heard somebody else was still in the water. He dived in again, found a man and a woman clinging desperately to a piece of wreckage, and he brought them to the shore, and then he collapsed. Fewer than 100 of the 400 people in that boat survived, and 17 of them was rescued by Spencer. His health, however, was damaged. And years later, a reporter met him as an old man in a nursing home and asked for his recollections of that night. And he said bitterly, "The only thing I remember is that not one of them ever thanked me." It seems to be human nature to forget to say thank you. Samuel Leibovich was a criminal lawyer, and he saved 78 people from the electric chair, and he said not one ever thanked him. There's something within us that resists that simple act of saying thank you. Jesus and his disciples once met a band of lepers, 10 in number, Jews and Samaritans, and he cured them. But it's interesting that mutual misery can cut across social, religious, and racial lines. They were all different. If you're hurting, you can't afford prejudices. And somehow these guys knew that Jesus could help them, and he did. And it was only one who went back and said thank you. H.I. Cronin, who was an author who lived down the road in Dumbarton and wrote Donald Finlay's casebook, used to tell of a doctor friend of his who often published a thank you cure for depressed people. He would insist that for 6 weeks the patient would say thank you for every kindness they received and keep a record of it. And according to Cronin, the doctor had a remarkable success rate. There's something about gratitude that brings peace to our heart and lightens our spirit. So let's say thank you for the simple things of life. And traditionally the church at this time of the year used to say thank you for the crops that were once again safely harvested. And that was a time there was a great opportunity for community rejoicing. The food store was replenished. Now, however, our food comes from the local supermarket, and we think very much less of the folks who have got to harvest it for many hours in both land and sea. I still think Thanksgiving has a place. And of course, at the same time, to pause and to think maybe on all those nurses and those doctors and those teachers and those shopkeepers and those a big long list of people who make our lives just that bit easier. Let's say thank you to them whenever you can. An attitude of gratitude is a good habit to cultivate. Again, thank you for listening to me this morning, and God bless you.